let's talk about MyZone for a second. Because we got a big fight today, and that just so happens to be Jones versus Holovkin. Now, let's talk about the entire brand. Let's talk about the fact that it's a side fed. A side leak like this, starting up like this, is tricky for me. Because, alright, how do I put this? We've got a new this new era where we're a lot of the side fits of the past, like Showtime and still WRBO. Some of them are dying out, some of them are coming back, but they've been holding off for a while. So right now, the only side fits we really have is Matchroom, which is basically an extension of RBC, and we have this. Okay, what have we had so far? Well, this started on the 28th, I believe, with Grand Peace versus Noah Alexis. I think that was the title. Hang on, I need to check the results instead of the actual fight card. So we had Noah Alexis beating Jackson Buhard. Then we have Harry beating Salih Sal by KO. So we haven't been through this. We haven't had a lot of experience in MyZone yet. And me in general, I haven't had a lot of experience in MyZone yet. But basically what I'm seeing, it's interesting that we're going this route with Jones versus Holovkin very, very quickly. I don't mind it. I think this card's really, really good. But the problem is it's based off of reputation in RBC more than anything else. I'm not saying you need more time to build this company up. I think you can do it now and there's no problem with it. And the fight card's really, really solid. I mean, we start off with Cordero James versus Ice Pro, then Dillinger Suarez versus Jackson Devine, which Jackson Devine, very dangerous fighter. Grand Peace Mizzy Paul, that's a pretty good matchup. Ali Zawawe and Vet Davis. Vet Davis, a former title challenger in Matchroom. Khan Jr. versus Zillan Reed. Dodo Paul versus Sully South. Dodo Paul, that's a big deal. Maybe a tune-up for tomorrow against, what's his name? Dodo Paul. Then you got your main event. Now let's talk about MyZone right now. They're trying to build their own thing. I think that's a very good idea. I don't think they should be an extension of the RBC. I think they need to be their own thing. But I said this a lot with Sweet Star Sidefed, where you need to find a different audience. And I think so far you're getting a different audience. But the RBC basically is the center of Roboxing. You have this community of Roboxing, and then RBC feels like the center of animated, that type of style of Roboxing. And it always will be. Nothing will get bigger than the RBC, maybe except that PBC Fed, but that's different. That's completely different. So now we get to this point where you need more Feds to increase intrigue. The main event is definitely something that I'm intrigued in. I think the Harry Holovkin matchup against Jam Jones is interesting, albeit this already happened, okay? This is not a new fight, but this feels like a good start. It's your first big time pay-per-view. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 very solid fights. I'm lying about at least one of those fights, but that's past the point. I don't know truly if we're doing this fight because I know Harry and Jam have already had experience when it comes to fighting in this Fed. I'm just saying to the point, are we putting this matchup together right away because we know, hell, Jam has a title in the picture. So it's definitely a MyZone title fight. This is definitely a fight that is built off the legacies that they have built already in Roboxing. I could be wrong because I didn't do enough research on this, but still, it's very fun to think about. Where does MyZone want to go as a promotion? So far, they aren't that big yet. They're getting there. They're just not to that point where they can really call themselves a powerhouse. This is a chance for them to do so, and I think they need to bring an audience. It's going to come through various things. It's going to come from promotion, which they haven't had yet. Right now, they're just relying on the fact that is our product good? If the fights are good, the people will come. After that, however, then you need to give a spectacle. Maybe you need rivalries. Maybe you need promotion, commentary, press conferences if you do want to go through that. I know RBC's done a good job of not going through that because it's too much work and no one shows up. But find a way to expand your audience. And you need to find an audience. You need to find a different group of people. I think one of the two big things about side feds is that it gives fighters a opportunity to fight that's not in the RBC, and it also brings in a new crowd. That new crowd being whatever we are going to get from MyZone, Matchroom, those if any new feds show up. And I know there are plenty. So let's see where let's see what they are. What is going to stand out? But now we have this fight. I don't know what your audience is going to be for this fight. It might be the RBC community because this is one of the both guys. They're good chums. I mean they know each other very well though. They've been competitive rivals before. So I think, and Harry Holovkin is going to go into this fight thinking, I need this one. I mean, if I win this fight, that could help me not just in this federation, but in others. Because side feds matter, okay? Side feds matter. Even when they're their own thing, they matter in the great landscape of reputation in the RBC. That's just my opinion. I think that's how it should be. That may not be how it is, but I feel like that's how it should be, right? I mean, this doesn't really change much for Jam Jones at this point, no matter if he wins or loses. Because he already has his legacy cemented. He is the IBF champion. He is just this dude. He's one of the baddest men on the planet. He's shown that before. So why does he need to do that again? Well, the point here is just legacy at this point. What Jam is going for is he wants more belts at the end of the day. I mean, he's trying to fill that collection. Screw just the IBF belt. Screw just your RCL animated championship. Screw all your MMA belts. We want the next one. We want more championships. There's no point in just having remnants of the past. We want to look to the future. We want more legacy. And as long as James Jones is going to put on the gloves and start slinging, that is the thing he wants. Legacy. Whether it comes by names, hardware, scandals, whatever. He wants that legacy. I think that's a big deal for him. So does Harry Holovkin. Guys, he needs to win a championship. That is Harry's main goal right now. He wins this fight. Not only is that a monumental upset when it comes to the fact that Jam Jones has beaten him before, but it's also a big deal that now he has a boxing belt. There you go. Probably one of the best fighters to not have a belt in boxing. Because no one's forgotten how great how good Holovkin was, or I should say Harry Payne was in MMA. I mean, dude was spectacular. So that's pretty much the rundown of the fight. And it's a very good one, and it's a very good main event. But this is important for MyZone. Taking an awfully big risk here. There's no promotion so far. Nothing. Not much talk. I am the only one who's talked about this so far. Outside of your community, I looked at this and said, okay, I'll make a video about it before I go for commentary in Wembley. But so far, no one's been talking. And I think that's a problem, and it's an easy fix. You have a great event today. Get people to show up. Get your fighters to show up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Start with 14 people to start. 3 commentators, 17. Your promotion, 18. And get a few fans in the building. You should, if you are a very respectable Fed, get at least 23, 24 maybe. You hit 25, that's pretty damn good. The fans are the most important part. I could give fuck all about the fighters. I mean, the fighters are there to entertain. That's their main goal. They're gonna show up. They're gonna perform. They're gonna get that. They're gonna get that pay, and they're gonna walk out happy. Fans, you need it. You need to draw them in. You need to get intrigue going. And if you're not gonna go the promotion route for your first fight, which you could have easily done with Harry Holovkin and Jam Jones, you need to do it after this. If your product is good, then you know what the next step is: promotion and bigger fights and a new audience. Well, you know what your problem is? You know how to solve it. It has some shred of luck involved, but it could work. This could legitimately work. I think this is a good enough card for that to be proven. So I'm going to ask the RBC community, are you intrigued in this fight? Do you think this is going to work? I'm definitely intrigued in this card. I'm going to be there. I'm going to show up. Mummy's a great event. Great venue for this event. Alright, guys, so, come through. And have a good one.